In prison, inmates were asked about their favorite foods. Zamiatin, a large bald man from level 24, demanded pizza daily. When the food platform arrived, Zamiatin found most of his pizza eaten by someone from level 21. He reached for chicken wings, but his cellmates warned that stealing food could create chaos. Ignoring them, he tried anyway, but Perempuan offered her food instead. He accepted a croquette, and they exchanged names as the platform descended. Suddenly, red lights flashed, and chaos ensued as communication with level 44 was lost. Robespierre, another inmate, reassured Zamiatin that higher levels would protect his pizza, but the platform shot upwards, destroying everything in its path. In an interview, Zamiatin showed no remorse for his crime, claiming his parents sent him to prison to get rid of him. The next day, Robespierre urged them to prepare for battle, but Zamiatin refused. When the platform reached level 24, chaos erupted. Robespierre was killed, and Perempuan was burned and collapsed as Zamiatin stood frozen. As the platform descended, they had to clear the food to survive. The man from level 21 was left unconscious, bound. Zamiatin blamed Robespierre's rules for their suffering, but Robespierre insisted humanity was at fault. Perempuan revealed a woman had died, and Robespierre swore to feed the lower levels and seek the anointed ones. Robespierre recalled a story of the Messiah surviving by cutting meat from his own thigh and spreading a message of solidarity. Determined, he threw a body down for those below to eat. The next day, Zamiatin taunted the man from level 21, but Robespierre warned him against breaking the law. Zamiatin and Perempuan took it upon themselves to enforce the prison's laws, growing closer and eventually living together. On the last day of the month, Trimagasi remarked on Perempuan's drawings, sharing his preference for science. Curious, he asked how she ended up in the pit, and she admitted needing time to forgive herself. When food reached level 175, Perempuan suggested celebrating, but they woke on level 180. Days passed without food, and Zamiatin's health declined. One day, Zamiatin began vomiting blood, and a severed head dropped, signaling justice to some. His condition worsened, but Perempuan defended him, recalling their integrity on level 46. As Zamiatin weakened, he admitted he was near death. Desperate, Perempuan suggested breaking the rules. That night, Zamiatin confessed his mistakes and leaped into the abyss, leaving Perempuan behind. The next morning, Perempuan woke on level 51 with a new cellmate. She explained the system to her, warning her about the limited food. As the platform arrived, some food was missing due to upper-level conflicts. Chaos erupted again on level 54 when a barbarian attacked his cellmate. Though Perempuan volunteered to punish him, the laws prevented her from acting. She later joined her companion in seeking justice, overpowering the anointed ones on a lower floor. Perempuan spared the barbarian after he begged for mercy. Perempuan learned her companion had been in the pit for 6 months, punished cruelly by enforcers Dog and Bogey. The woman shared her story of survival, though she doubted escape was possible. Days later, Dog and Bogey arrived, announcing rewards for Perempuan's pacifism. But soon, they were overpowered, and another man was punished for failing to maintain order. Perempuan tries to explain her actions, but Dog and Bogey dismiss her, stating that the law is absolute and cannot be questioned. They reveal that the one-armed woman will face the same fate as her previous companion, Cassie. At that moment, the man who had stayed behind exposes the women's plan to escape. His words sound so absurd that everyone bursts into laughter. Perempuan and the others are tied at the edge of the abyss, arms outstretched. As the platform descends, they lose their arms, and Perempuan's companion is tied naked to the platform, left to be devoured by those below. When Perempuan wakes on level 72, she finds herself with an older man as her new cellmate. They agree to avoid contact with others, and the old man, who had brought a knife as his item, begins hoarding food from the platform. Perempuan climbs onto the table, still haunted by visions of Zamiatin and her failed escape. When they encounter barbarians, she proposes they unite against the loyalists, though her real goal is to find a way out. As they descend further, they attempt to gather allies, but most stick to the rules, which creates chaos as their group expands. On one level, an elderly woman greets them kindly, offering warmth and hospitality despite the brewing tension. That night, they dance and celebrate, but Dog and Bogey preparing to face the loyalists who descend from the higher levels at dawn, intentionally wasting food to weaken the barbarians. But Dog and Bogey still enforcing the law, threaten to starve the lower levels unless the rebellion leaders surrender. The situation devolves into chaos as survival becomes paramount, with food becoming the central focus. The old man suggests they continue their descent, aiming to feed on the loyalists below in their desperate attempt to outlast the starvation imposed from above. The elderly woman gently feeds her, trying to help her recover after days without food. In the present, as the barbarians prepare their attack, they overlook the loyalists' clever tactic using mattresses as walls, giving them a strong advantage. Blood is spilled everywhere, and in the chaos, a barbarian whom Perempuan once spared turns against her. Hiding beneath a bed, the old man silently passes her his knife. Perempuan uses it to defend herself, killing her attacker before retreating to safety. When the battle ends, most are dead, leaving only Perempuan and the old man still standing. They notice Dog and Bogey lying on the ground, severely wounded. Although Perempuan has the knife in hand, instead of finishing them off, she chooses to tend to their injuries. As the days pass, Perempuan starts cleaning their room and informs the old man of her plan to leave. He tells her he plans to stay, confessing that, despite the hardships, this has been the best month of his life. Meanwhile, in another part of the pit, children are fighting until one, lit by a strange glow, is quietly escorted away by guards. They whisper something in the child's ear before leading him off, calm and compliant. Perempuan wakes just as the gas begins to fill the pit. Feigning death, she is taken to the 333rd level. During a moment of distraction, she manages to slip out of her restraints and hides under a bed. From her concealed spot, she watches the workers clean and organize the area, preparing for the next month's cycle to begin. Perempuan notices a drowsy child lying on a nearby bed, moved by an instinct to protect him from the horrors of the pit. However, in her rush, she accidentally hits her head, triggering a series of nightmarish hallucinations. Figures from her past appear, urging her to kill the child so they can feast on him, but Perempuan fights against these disturbing visions. Slowly, she snaps out of the trance and regains her senses. Descending even further beyond the lower levels, Perempuan encounters a group of emaciated people scavenging for scraps from the platform. A woman from the group tells her that only children are allowed to ascend back to the upper levels. Though Perempuan is reluctant to leave the child behind, the group convinces her that her journey is over, but the child still has a chance at survival. With a heavy heart, she agrees, sending the child up alone, silently hoping that he will make it. In a post-credits scene, Goring and Trimagasi discuss the girl on the platform, explaining that she was the message all along. Perempuan steps out from the shadows, confronting them and demanding to know what they are doing there. Instead of answering, they embrace her, their silence leaving her to contemplate the unspoken truth.